Hey everybody, how you doing today? This is Mike. Essentially, I'm going to try to change things up just a little bit. Instead of doing the vlog the way that I normally do, I'm just going to do it on video. That way, hopefully, I can keep more people interested in what I'm doing. Today, it's going to be about talent and development and validation. So, one of the big first topics that I want to talk about is no more interviews, that we actually just do tests instead. One of the things that I think that interviews do is that they give a false impression of a person and they don't really give an accurate measure of everything that they're capable of. So what can you learn about somebody in half an hour? I think that's what we try to do with an interview. What can we get from that one person through one conversation? And sometimes there's more. Sometimes they'll have 2 or 3 interviews, and we'll try to go a little bit more in depth. But really, what can you learn from just asking a series of questions? I mean, you can learn a great deal about a person or the way that they're going to respond. But can't somebody prepare for an interview? Can't somebody just simply know the type of questions that you're going to ask? Because most interviews are pretty standard. So what I would actually suggest at that point is that we're going to then start doing tests instead. So instead of just that 30-minute interview or maybe 3 hours of total interview, maybe we put out a test, a few different versions of different things. You know, kind of like Captain Kirk in Star Trek. We've got this captain's test, and everybody's got to take this crazy inane test that is actually real world in its nature. So maybe we mock up a store or use a real store after hours, and then allow for the person who's testing for a certain spot, like inside of a store anyway. They would have different scenarios that they would have to run through, and then they would be judged on the way that they handle those scenarios. The next thing would be a training program, essentially like a college almost. I mean, the biggest thing there is that with the Learning Lounge that we have now, it's going to be very difficult to validate that anybody's actually learning anything. What happens is that we take these half-an-hour modules that are really great, but not everybody is truly focused on the 15-minute or half-an-hour module that's in front of them, or even the 2-minute ones. I mean, they're not always going to be able to focus because sometimes the sales floor is too busy, or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of variables there. So, again, the big thing there is that we actually validate all of the training. We do true classes. So essentially the Learning Lounge then would become the books of those classes. And then every week or every month or whenever, I mean, just it all depends on what we have time for, the associates or the trainees or whatever you want to call them, the students in this case, would go through all of these different pieces. When they're done with that class, when they're done with that course, then they would get a certification that they had taken that and they had done that and they'd actually learned from that lesson. So instead of just that one shot, that one couple of minute course that they took, now instead they can actually do a true learning, a more realistic learning anyway. And then what about canned lectures? Why aren't there more of those? I remember doing a bunch of learning centers back probably 2 or 3 years ago that talked about business acumen, and there were different executives and different like territory managers and different people who were all over the organization that talked about one piece or another of different business acumen that we had at Best Buy, or just in general business. So I would like to bring those back, or just do more of those. If more people, more leaders inside of our organization were making a video every week or every month, or maybe just one video talking about one thing that they're really, really good at, and we could just have that one canned lecture, to be able to just go and link to. You just go pull it up either through YouTube or through through Learning Lounge or whatever. Whether we're going to make it internal or external, I mean that's for later. That's just an idea. So I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Was that short enough? Was that to the point? Was it boring? Not a really great on-camera personality. I'm much better in person, I think. And it's really hard to tell how I'm doing with this camera. So, if you want to leave feedback either on YouTube or on my blog or wherever, and you can always email me at michael.sander@bestbuy.com as well. I'm always willing to take feedback, and I'm sorry that I'm a horrible on-camera personality. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.